All right, guys, so if you're wondering if you can pour concrete over concrete, you're going to get to see it on this video. We do a lot of these, especially garage floors just like this one. Now, this garage floor was in pretty good shape. There wasn't really anything wrong with the garage floor. It was just too low compared to the driveway. And sometimes when it rained really hard, he'd get water working its way back into on top of the garage floor. So he wanted to raise it, 2.5, 3.5 inches, just so he could redo the driveway and get everything sloping away from the garage floor. So that's what we're doing. I raised it 3.5 inches in back. So he's actually got a concrete wall around this thing that sticks up about 4 inches. So I'm raising it to the top of that wall in the back of the garage, and then we're sloping the concrete floor about 1.5 inches to the garage doors. So we're going about 2.5 inches by the garage doors and 4 inches in the back, if that makes sense to you. Right over the original concrete floor. You can see he had a little bit of paint on it. It was kind of wearing off where the tires were coming in. But there really wasn't any major cracks. There was just one crack way by that pass door in the back. And I made sure I put a little extra rebar back there, and we got the wire mesh in here. I got rebar under the wire mesh to help hold it up off the floor, and I'm pulling it up into the concrete as we're pouring, as you can see me right there. Now the PSI we use our 3500 PSI mix. We got fiber mesh in the concrete also for reinforcement. So this floor is not going anywhere. It's going to be a really good rugged floor. It's going to last a long time. And then we got water reducer in it for slump control, a little bit of air entrainment in it, which we always do on garage floors for freeze and thaw protection. So you're going to get to see how you can pour concrete right over existing concrete. Now, like I said earlier, I've done a lot of these floors. I've probably done 100 of them over the last 45 years. Never really had an issue doing it. Now, I do come and evaluate the floor first. My evaluation is, this original concrete has to be sound. I have to feel comfortable that there's no, big hollow spots under the floor. Some of these I've gone and looked at have had huge cracks. Parts of the concrete is settling. You can pound a hammer on it. It sounds really hollow underneath. Now, in those cases where you got these big, wide, separated cracks, or part of the concrete's lifted up a lot higher than the other where it's cracked, sometimes it's best just to rip those concrete floors out. Just demo it, see what's going on underneath there, like why is it settling so bad. Fix that, fix the gravel part first, and then just pour a new floor over it. But there's also a lot of cases where the garage floor is just deteriorating on the surface. It's in pretty rough shape because of, whatever, salt or freezing thawing, or maybe it just wasn't ever poured at the right height, or maybe it was poured, badly, and it kind of slopes towards the back, and you get all this water puddling in the back, or maybe right under where you open your doors, and, you just don't want that. So rather than rip the whole floor out, you can just pour 2 to 3 inches right over the original one and get it fixed by someone who knows what they're doing, like us. Now, you don't need to bond these two floors together. That, if you pour it thick enough, 2.5, 3 or more inches, 2.5 to 3 inches or more is plenty thick enough so you don't have to bond the two together. If you're going to go thinner than that, like I've gone as thin as 1.5 inches, for an overlay on concrete like this, then you kind of want to put a bonding agent down and bond the two together. But when you're pouring thick enough, especially with the reinforcement like this, it's really no different than pouring over a really good hard packed gravel sub base. It's just concrete, that's all. Concrete makes a really good sub base. So Luke's shooting our wet pad in the middle. This is what we strike our pads off from. Just like he mag floated the pads around the outside edge, we snapped a chalk line on there. And we're going to strike this off. Now remember, that slopes from in the back where Darren, the guy in the white t-shirt, is, to where Eric is, the guy in the bluish aqua t-shirt. That slopes about 1 inch right there. And this is just how we strike it off. We're doing it by hand today. Instead of using the battery power screed, most garages, smaller garages like this that have a good slope to them, we'll just screed by hand like this. That way we know everything's perfect. The slope is perfect. There's no dips or humps under anything. And everything always comes out really good when we screed like this. Those green, you can see those green bars underneath the wire. That's fiberglass rebar. We're starting to use more and more of that. Now, I could have just tied a mat of rebar in here too, but I decided to go with the wire mesh. The flat sheets of wire mesh, they come in 5 foot by 10 foot sheets. And then, I didn't really want to put these big chairs under the wire to hold it up into the concrete because I didn't want it too close to the surface. Sometimes the wire will kind of mirror through the concrete finish if it's too close to the surface. So we decided just to put the rebar under it, keep it up off the concrete, and then also pull it up into the concrete and get the rocks from the concrete under the wire too. That works really good. And the wire is just there basically to, to help distribute the load that gets put on the concrete, right? And to help hold it together. If it did want to crack, the wire's in there to help hold that crack together really tight. Now, we'll power trowel this today. We'll get it very smooth with the power trowel, and then we'll saw cut joints in it the same day here today. This gives you a little bit better eye look at the concrete. You can see how low that floor, the original floor, was compared to the driveway. That driveway out here is relatively flat. Basically, he gets puddles in the driveway when it rains, so it was never done right to begin with. Now he's going to be able to raise the driveway almost 3 inches right there at the doors. And he's going to raise up his garage doors too. That's why he pulled off the siding. I believe he's taken those windows out up above there, redoing the headers and just having new garage doors put in. Same thing in the back where that pass door is. He's going to raise that up 4 inches to make sure, everything still stays the same. Put in a 3068 door. But the main reason is the driveway. He doesn't want to deal with the water anymore, and he's going to hire somebody to come in and redo that driveway and get it done right. It's a pretty good sized driveway too, so if you don't have the slope right, he's going to have some major water issues like he has in the past. The good thing is with this concrete floor, pouring this concrete over the original is, we got quite a bit of slope on this one, right? The original garage floor didn't have any slope to it. It was, if anything, it had low spots in it where it would just collect water and the water would just sit there. So that's going to be one big major difference is this new floor is sloped, so no water will ever sit on it. It's all going to run out the doors, and it's also obviously higher than the original. It's about, I believe it was a 26 by 26 foot garage. Now, with those doors where they sit down right there, I'm mag floating that door right there, kind of smoothing that out a little bit. Where that door sits down on the new concrete floor, we'll taper that little piece that sits outside the door. We'll put a little taper on that also. Probably about 3/8 to a 1/2 inch taper. So any water that hits that outside part of that concrete is also going to want to shed off from it and not sit there. And we do a lot of concrete floors. We usually pour at least one a day. So today we're going to pour this one right here. We'll leave one guy here to finish. And then we're heading about an hour north of this job to set up a big patio, stamped concrete patio. I think it's like 140 feet long, about 8 feet wide. We got a TAPCon forms, ondo, frost wall, set them to grade, tie in a mat, or I think we're using wire up there too. Put wire mesh in that with a double row of rebar around the outside edge. And then just getting that all prepped and ready to pour coming up in the next day or two. Those are the kinds of things we do every day. We don't, obviously we got 5 guys here, right? It only takes one guy really to finish a garage like this if you know what you're doing. Sometimes we'll leave 2 guys, but most of the time one guy on something this small. And then the rest of us, we'll either go pour something else or we'll go form up stuff for the the next day or the next 2 days or whatever we need to do to stay busy. But we're usually we got concrete scheduled for 6 a.m. in the morning every single day. So he loads the trucks at 5, usually 5:15, gets them on the job at 6, and we're pouring concrete every day. That's our schedule. Now this guy found me online through social media, right? So I have a lot of social media. Matter of fact, if you're new to my YouTube, and you're still watching, first of all, thanks for watching this deep into the video. Please consider subscribing. Now, after you subscribe, make sure you put new sub down in the comments, and I'll enter you into a drawing to win some of the gear that we have, the t-shirts, the hoodies, stuff like that. And if you're an older viewer, if you've been a subscriber to my channel for a while and you watch a lot of my videos, make sure you put old sub in there, and I enter you into a separate drawing to win some of the same stuff we do. But as far as my social media goes, I got a pretty big Instagram. We cut up a lot of these videos and put small clips on them. Plus I have all kinds of other clips on Instagram, on my TikTok. You can find me by searching for everything about concrete or Mike Day Concrete. And then I have a Facebook page where we put some stuff on, a lot of stuff on Facebook page. Again, everything about concrete. Then LinkedIn, you can find me on there. So I'm all across social media. A lot of people find me through social media, and doing a lot of these videos, especially for the local people. Like, we usually travel about an hour, up to about an hour away from the shop for work. It's just we live in a little bit of a rural type area in between a couple cities that are about 15 minutes one way north, one way south. So we have a lot of like residential jobs just like this one that people call and ask for help on, and as well as jobs a lot further away, like 2 hours away, 3 hours away here in Maine, that we just we have too much work locally for me to really want to travel that far away. Even though I'd like to help as many people as possible, that's just too far to go when you got a lot of work that you can do just locally. So the boys are just being careful on even though that this driveway is getting either asphalted over or they're going to rip it out and redo it to reshape it. The boys are just being careful by taking their boots off and not making a mess. We don't want to make a mess on the driveway. I don't know when his new driveway guys come in, and when you get concrete on asphalt like that and you let it dry, it comes off really hard. So even if we did get some on, we'd rinse it right off, make it look as clean as possible. So that shows you like how we pour the concrete over the existing, how we screed it, get it to grade, and then kind of smooth it off with a bow float, right? So if you're thinking of doing something like this shows you that you can do it. You just want to make sure the original concrete isn't so busted up. Like, why did it? If yours is really broken up, you gotta figure out why it broke up in the first place. Because this new one, if you pour new over a concrete floor that's really broken up, I mean, there's a pretty good chance the new one's just going to break up too if you don't know what's going on underneath the concrete first. So the reason I bow float like this and I like getting it really smooth is because when you go to power trowel it, the better you get it bow floated, the smoother you get all those lines out from Screeding, settle the rocks right at the surface, bring up the pace. The better you do that, the easier it is to finish with the power trowel. So it's just trying to create steps, right? This step leads into the next step to make everything as easy as possible. This job's hard enough as it is. So, and I teach this too in the Concrete Underground. Like, if you want to learn how to do concrete like we do, pouring floors, doing patios, doing stamped concrete, pool decks, all the different types of concrete you see me do on my YouTube channel, you can join the Concrete Underground, and I have all kinds of training courses in there. Plus, there's a lifetime access option that if you want to join that, you get to come work with us for a week, jump right in here and pour concrete with us. and get some hands-on training. So there's always that option if you want to do that. I've had some people do that already. But for the most part, just if I got a couple other videos popping up right here, make sure you check them out. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.